Hello and welcome to our busy webinar. Today we're talking about website do's and don'ts for ABC, the Association of Builders and Contractors. I am Dave Meyer, president of BizzyWeb, and we're going to get right down to business. Apologies, we had a little bit of a technological goof up this morning. It seems to be a Monday and December 1st here in Minnesota, so wanted to get right down to basics, talk through our agenda today. We're going to go through a little bit about BizzyWeb, who we are and what we do, and then we're going to talk about what not to do on the web, including making sure that your website is mobile responsive, design issues to steer clear of, usability issues, search engine optimization or SEO snafus, and of course we're going to back that in with what you should do. So if you're getting started on a website, or if you're kind of frustrated with the goals of your website and how it's performing right now, hopefully this will help you dial in what you need to do. To get started, I'd like to give you a couple of moments just to ask questions. We do have some viewers online today, and so thank you very much for joining us. If you are at the ABC webinar page from BizzyWeb's events, you'll note that there's a couple of things in here. You can click play to watch this video live, and a number of you actually are live on the event. But it gets interesting and allows you to ask questions when you click on this highlighted Google Plus link to join the Google Plus Hangout live stream. So if you click on this, it's going to open up this page. It's going to open it up in a new tab, so you don't have to worry about losing your place. And you'll note that there's a Q&A and a live icon on the resulting page. If you click this play button, it's going to open up a new window, and you're going to be able to see the event live and in person. And so you can see exactly what's happening here. You can see where we're at and what's being broadcast. What I want you to notice is down in the lower right corner, there's a green button that says Ask a New Question. If you click that button, you can ask a question or give your website address here, ADDRESS, here. And if you enter one of those things, we'll help you either critique your website, give you some options and some things to think about for your site if you're feeling brave, or of course if you just have questions about anything online marketing related, or specifically about any of the topics that we're going to cover today, that's how you do it. It's very simple, very easy, and we'd love to have you join us for those questions. I can see them live as we're being broadcast, and I'll answer them. You won't be talking on the event today, but you will be able to connect with us. So here we go. Let's get into details and basics. First, of course, wanted to cover a little bit about who BizzyWeb is. BizzyWeb, founded in '99, based just a little bit north of Minneapolis in Champlin, Minnesota, and our team of 14 serves clients all over the world with online marketing. We've worked with ABC for a couple years now, and as a matter of fact, in 2013, we were named the new member of the year. In result for a lot of the things that we do. We offer a lot of free trainings, opportunities to ABC membership. And so if you are dialed into that, please keep your eyes peeled for content and marketing advice from BizzyWeb. And we also have special offers that I'll share with you at the end of today's event. We are an online marketing company, and we focus on web design and the more traditional aspects of online marketing, including SEO, email, content, pay-per-click advertising, Google Ads and the sort, and of course, web hosting. We build our websites so that they seamlessly integrate with social media and are simultaneously fully integrated with email marketing, as well as optimized to get you found on search engines like Google. Social media setups are also part of what we do, and we specialize in branding and cross-promoting your website from your social media. So everything works together, and we actually build our websites as the very foundation of everything else that we do. When you publish to a BizzyWeb powered website, your website then takes care of publishing and posting to Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Google+, Pinterest, and your email marketing account all in one fell swoop. Let's get down to basics and talk about what not to do on the web. First, make sure that you have a mobile responsive design. If your website is not mobile responsive, that's a big no-no. So your website needs to look great on mobile responsive sites. And as a matter of fact, Google has given their strongest consideration ever as of April 21st, Google stopped displaying non-responsive websites in mobile search results. That means if someone's searching for you on a mobile device, even if you normally rank well for a specific keyword, you simply won't show up on that keyword. New data has come in and is indicating that your overall organic search engine rankings do suffer if your website is not mobile responsive. It's all part of a quality score that Google gives your website. And so if your website is not mobile responsive, and you can do a quick test while we're on the webinar today, just open it up on your phone. And if you have to pinch and zoom to see things on your website, or if you open up your web page in your web browser on your PC and squish your web browser as skinny as it will go, and if you have to scroll sideways then to see content on your website, that site is not mobile responsive. You want to run a test at google.com/webmasterstools mobile friendly. Easiest way to do that is just to Google Webmaster Tools and mobile friendly test. And if you do that, it'll pop up this handy page that'll tell you how your website looks on mobile responsive or as far as mobile devices. And it'll give you some handy tips if you're not quite set up correctly. Can't underscore enough that your website needs to look great on mobile devices. And if it does not, you need to consider how to make that change. If you don't have a mobile responsive website design, there are inexpensive options to get you up and rolling. And BizzyWeb does actually have a WordPress oriented mobile responsive package that we offer to upgrade our clients' websites to mobile responsiveness. There's a difference as well between mobile adaptive and mobile responsive. If you have two separate versions of your website and the mobile friendly version pops up when someone visits you on a mobile device, that's what's called mobile adaptive, and that is not as good as far as Google's concerned as having a mobile responsive website. This works, mobile adaptive websites work against you because you have to manage two websites, but also Google gets confused as to which set of code it should be following. And a lot of times people optimize the results and the response of their websites based on that mobile adaptive design. And so if you have fewer links or different content, all of that can be done correctly using a mobile responsive design. But if you try and cheat the system by installing a plugin or having it go to a different website when people visit on a mobile device, you're hurting yourself for search engine rankings. Let's get into design issues. If you have too many colors on your website or clashing colors on your website or ugly fonts, outdated design, autoplay media, if you go to your website and it plays some sort of music or flash, you're in trouble as far as just usability. Design colors all need to be complementary, and every 2 to 3 years, every 3 to 4 years at the latest, you should generally be looking at your website design because trends do come in and out, and it's important to display your best possible face to the world, and web design trends kind of tend to modify over time. One of the big things that's happening right now is the waterfall effect on websites, also called just straight adaptive designs, where people will scroll up and down and you can see things underneath or layered files. And as a matter of fact, with mobile responsive design, one of the things that you'll note is when you make your web browser skinnier, you'll note that the 3 across, if you have 3 columns down the middle of your homepage on your website, those should stack instead of going horizontal. They should switch to vertical. And having all of that stuff connected and looking good is important as you look at your design issues. Clashing colors or ugly fonts just makes your website less readable. And if you don't have a readable website, or if it doesn't impart the tone or the connections that your clients are thinking or expect, you're going to suffer. And autoplay media, of course, is very bad for anyone that either has a slow connection, which includes most mobile devices, or anyone that's in a shared corporate environment. If someone clicks on your web page and they hear music and they have to scramble to shut off their window or to turn off their sound, there's a good chance that they're just going to leave your website and never come back again. And then Flash used to be really cool and was very exciting for quite a while in the early 2000s, I suppose. That's the things where you can see buttons that dance and switch and swish and move all over the screen. And it can be very well done, but no mobile devices support Flash anymore. And so the reasons are manyfold, but the old point and click and mousing options on websites just aren't the way that people work when they're looking at a screen and tapping physically on a screen via their tablet or their phone. And there's no search engine optimization benefit to Flash websites. And as a matter of fact, when Google runs across a Flash website, the crawler or the indexing tool simply throws up its little electronic hands and says, I don't know what this stuff is, and they move on. So you don't get any credit for any of the content that you have on your website if you have Flash. As far as content issues, you need to make sure that your website stays up to date. If someone visits your website and they see coming soon in 2012, they're going to think that maybe your company isn't around anymore, or certainly at least you haven't taken your company seriously enough to want to spend time on your marketing. If you don't have enough content, or if you have too much content, if there's nothing but a massive wall of text on your website, that's a big deal, because when people are browsing, especially again on mobile devices, they need to be able to browse simply and easily and see the content that they're looking for within the first 10 seconds of visiting your website. So if you don't have that, and if your website is confusing, or if there's too much stuff on it, or by contrast, not enough, that's going to give interesting and difficult challenges for your clients. Brochure websites are often famous for this, because if you have a brochure that you've used forever in your business and the desire is to republish that brochure, and I've even seen this where you have to flip the pages of a website instead of actually clicking on links. That's just bad usability, bad design. And the print medium is very different than the standard website. And so if you're thinking about web design versus brochure design, don't try and repurpose content straight. You can use some of the text, of course, from your brochure, but make sure that your website is a living, breathing thing that's updated regularly and that imparts who you are for your clients. As far as usability, again, if you don't plan for mobile, if you have Flash, or if you have huge files on your website or hidden links, all of that stuff is terrible. And so you don't want to do that, because it just impedes the user experience. If you frustrate your users when they're searching for your website, they're simply going to turn away, and you're going to lose that sale, that lead, that connection. Hidden links are a very bad thing for search engine optimization. If you have the same color text on a background, so if you have a white background on your website and you have white text where you feature all of the keywords, all of that is a hidden images or hidden content, and hidden content is an incredibly bad no-no as far as Google is concerned. If you have that on your website, Google may outright ban you from showing up for certain keywords, for any keywords that are featured in the bottom of that page, for example. And let's talk about search engine optimization. If you don't have title tags on your website or description tags, if you have missing alt tags are the code that you see when you hover your mouse or when you tap on an image, and it's the physical code that tells Google and other search engines what an image is. Google by default can't tell what type of content is being featured in any graphical image. And so if you don't have some sort of text, it simply doesn't give you any credit for the imagery that you have in there. So having alt tags that describe and that highlight the keywords that you're trying to be found for is a great way to get found, or to help increase your search engine results. Title tags and description tags, you can think of those as the 1-2 punch that you have to pre-sell your website when your website shows up in text search results. So if someone Googles you and you show up, if your homepage or if your About Us page on your website simply says About Us, you can change your title tag to say About BizzyWeb, Web Design and Online Marketing in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And likewise, you can give more detail on your website to tell people why they should click. And that's inside of that description tag. So a description tag might say, BizzyWeb is an online marketing services firm serving the construction and contracting industry. In Minneapolis, Minnesota, we feature WordPress websites, content, online marketing, and more. All of that is easy to add and gives you that extra lever up when people are searching, when you show up in those search results. If you don't have good use of headings, and those are H1, H2, H3, and you can see in the middle of this page what that H content looks like. An H1 title is big, an H2 title is slightly smaller, but Google looks at that as the semantic organization of your website. And so if you don't have any headings, you're not telling Google what's important on that website or that page. If you have repetitive text and keywords, and as a matter of fact, if you stuff your keywords, and for example, if I was an electrician in Minneapolis and I had a page on my website that was about being a Minneapolis electrician, and the content of that page read, in Minneapolis, electricians are very important because we're a Minneapolis electrician, and being an electrician in Minneapolis is very fun and enjoyable because we really enjoy being an electrician in Minneapolis. That's what's called keyword stuffing. And if you have more than 5.5% or so of content as a keyword on any given page, that's called stuffing. And having those links or that content on your website is actually hurting you more than it's helping. So don't just stuff as many keywords as possible on any given page, or repeat yourself too much, or you might get downgraded by Google and not show up as highly as you could. And then there's all kinds of black hat types of content and details that you can do. I already talked about invisible text. There's also backlinking from link farms. You'll see this if you have comments enabled on your website. You probably get links quite often from seemingly strange places that say, I found your content very helpful and would love to connect up, great job. And then they have a link back to some random website that's selling shoes in Indonesia. That's backlinking, and that's bad backlinking. There's good backlinks and bad backlinks, but if you hire someone to get you backlinks, that's the kind of crud that you're going to get, and it's going to actively hurt you instead of helping you. A lot of folks that got caught up in the SEO craze earlier in probably, as late as 2010, 2011, people were still making this mistake where they were hiring link farms to try and get more search engine juice. And now those same folks are needing to go back and disavow all of those links because it's dramatically hurting their search engine results to have all of these low quality backlinks on their website. So other common mistakes on search engines: not making your website crawlable. In WordPress, for example, or in meta text, you can set your website or specific pages to no index or no follow. There are reasons to do that. That's basically telling Google to not crawl your website or to not categorize any of the data on your website. Some pages, like if you have archive pages on your website, you probably don't want to get archived because you might not want to have that deal or that content taken out of context. But in general, if you have good, compelling content, you want to make sure that it's being crawled. So make sure that your website is crawlable. All of these can be fixed and can be identified with a quick buzz report. And so if you go to BizzyWeb.com/buzz, enter in your website address and a keyword that you'd like to be found for, we'll tell you what your most obvious mistakes are as far as search engine optimization and usability. And that's a free tool. It's going to take you about 45 seconds. And don't freak out because I'll cover it again at the end. If you don't have great content on your website, if your homepage title isn't recognizable, or if you're not using Google Webmaster Tools and other tools like our Buzz Report to help you. That's all common stuff that you should consider in upgrading your website. Again, if you're interested in search engine optimization, I have entire webinars at BizzyWeb.com/events that you can search through and review. And so I would encourage you to take a look at that. And if you're interested and have questions on any of these things, again, you can send either a question in over the webinar here, or send a note to Dave at BizzyWeb.com and say, I'd like the search engine optimization links to the search engine optimization training, or anything else that you have specific questions on. In general, there's a few random things that you should always avoid. Flashing buttons, animated GIFs, unless they have a specific reason for being on your website. Anything that loops or continues to re-flash over and over again. I'm going to show you some examples of this in a moment, but anything that's either too ambitious or nonsense, or if it has lorem ipsum on the web on its web page. Lorem ipsum is a design tool that website designers use when they don't have any content at hand, and it's Latin text that really doesn't mean anything, but it mimics the natural flow of the English language without imparting any dummy text. So it's obvious what it is, and you just look at it and it's lorem ipsum. If you Google lorem ipsum dolor asmet, or just lorem ipsum, you'll see that there are several 100 million pages on the web that still have lorem ipsum on them. It's not a good idea. It's just lazy. And if you haven't updated your web page, and if you just have dummy copy on a web page for a specific reason, just hide that page so that it doesn't show up. Let's show you some examples of bad stuff while we're waiting. I see that Florian has a couple of questions. Has specific graphical symbols with scans and email, and so yes, Florian, you can send us an email to connect up, and I mentioned that my email address is dave@BizzyWeb.com, so I'd love to have you connect up with us there. Let me go over to the links here for some ugly websites. So this is Bath Magic. You can see here's some links, some animated GIFs. We've got blinking text. We've got a squished down page on here. It's grayed text over a black background. Just kind of all kinds of terrible stuff on this website. It's just, I guess it might go with the ugly tub theme. But, in general, if you don't need it, and if you don't have a reason for your design choices, you may want to, look at some other options. This is a website that's definitely in need of a refresh. You'll also notice when I squish this website down and make it skinny, it's not mobile responsive. And if you look at a website that is mobile responsive, for example, BizzyWeb's website, if I go to our homepage quickly, if I squish down the BizzyWeb website, I can look here and I can see that, for example, I've got these 3 columns across that talk about who we are and what we do. If I squash this page down, it goes down to 1 column instead of 3. So that's an example of a mobile responsive design. So Bath Magic bad, BizzyWeb good. Of course it is. Here's an example of way too much text, way too much color, and the dreaded Comic Sans font. So Penny Juice, there's all kinds of stuff that you can say about Penny Juice. I don't even know what it is because my eyes start bleeding when I read it too hard. But this is a great example of a website that just doesn't get what it's trying to do done. Here's another example of a very busy website. Here's an animated GIF for you. Here's way too much content. They've got all this crazy stuff on here. A lot of this is in a different language. I think it's actually been taken over by an alternate language company because this used to be in English. And actually, if I click, I suppose, on the English side, this is what it gets me. I guess these are translators. So nothing does what you expect it to do. I guess if you expect to be, wow, you even have to scroll sideways to get content on this page. This is not mobile responsive. This is not friendly at all to mobile devices. And as a matter of fact, I don't know if they ever sell anything. So there's a lot of crazy stuff on here, but it's really not awesome. So this page is in Norwegian. I can have Google translate it for me since I'm working in Chrome. But you can see there's just a lot of issues with this site. And then the Headhunter hairstyling page, this doesn't really convey anything. It doesn't have any compelling calls to action. It doesn't do what it needs to do, really. And it certainly doesn't make me want to go to Headhunter hairstyling. They're actually nowhere near a beach even. So, having this up here to make it look pretty is just kind of weird and interesting. So there's some bad examples. Let's get into what you should do now. So when you're talking about websites, it's important to think about not only what you're trying to get out of your website, but more importantly, what your clients, what your prospects are thinking about when they're searching for your site. Optimize for search engines, but keep your website human. What you need to think about is, who are you to your best prospects? Think about, if you sell drill bits, the fact that you're not really selling drill bits, you're in fact selling holes. And so if you are selling holes, what is that hole that you fill for your clients? Make sure that you focus on that for them. It's never as important or interesting to talk about how many years you've been in business, your specialties, or the type of people you are. Instead, focus on the answer that you have for your clients. Demonstrate that you understand their needs and that you know what they need, and get them right to the next step with that clear call to action on every page. Whether it's click now, register today, buy here, call now, whatever, you want to make sure that you give people a next step to take. If you make them guess as to what they should be doing on your website, they're not going to guess what you want them to, and they're just going to go away. Keep your download time short, because people are on mobile devices that don't always have LTE or 4G networks. And of course, make sure that your website is mobile responsive. You should consider connecting with social media and keep your design fresh and relevant. If your website's more than 3 or so years old, I'd suggest taking a look at what your competition is doing. And if your website starts to look dated, of course, you know who to talk to. Give us a call. Using the right tools is very important across the board, but your website handles, or can handle, updating your posts across all of your social networks. It can handle deals, offers, and specials. And your website is really the foundation of everything that you're doing online. Facebook then can do general posts and deals. LinkedIn can do B2B and thought leadership, business to business marketing and messaging. Google Plus is great for search engine optimization. And of course, Twitter is great for short updates, headlines, and tips. Again, I note that you should have accounts on most of these places, but note that your website can automatically update all of those networks. So don't feel, or don't fret too much about keeping everything up to date, because if set up correctly, your website can handle all of that for you. And as a side benefit, any link that you get back from Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Pinterest, House, and more can enhance your search engine results by giving quality links back to your website. As far as website updates, you should definitely showcase your work and keep your clients up to date. Make sure that you update your website regularly. This is sometimes called blogging. It stands for weblog, but in general, you can have news and updates on your website, and the more you update your site with relevant, helpful content, whether it be picking frequently asked questions and answering one per week over the course of several weeks, or just sharing content, thoughts, interesting tidbits that you've run across because you're an expert in your field and you're probably subscribed to a bunch of industry publications. Anything that your clients would find interesting, you should be sharing on your website, and then subsequently over your social networks and in your email marketing. If you really want to get people interested and keep them up to speed, give them that option to subscribe to your newsletter or to subscribe for email updates, and make some of that information members only. So send out a member exclusive via email once a month, once every 6 months, whatever, that gives them special deals, offers, tips, tricks, or an opportunity for a members only event where you have perhaps a holiday event for your clients that shares your things. All right, so we've covered a lot of stuff. I don't see any new big emails, big content. Please send a free email link to test, says Florian. So Florian, just go ahead and send an email to dave@bizzyweb.com, and we'd love to help you out. But in summary, if you're confused or concerned about any of these things, BizzyWeb can help. We offer web design services that are designed to get you leads and help you grow your business. If your website doesn't generate some action within the first 10 seconds of people visiting, it needs to be adjusted or modified. Likewise, if your website is not mobile responsive, you're simply not showing up correctly on where up to 80% of people are primarily searching. So think about what you can do to be as findable wherever possible via your website. And then remember that we can host your website as well. If you're interested in the auto posting feature, if you have a WordPress powered website, which is what we do, send me a note and we can talk about how we can get your website up to speed. We also, of course, offer online marketing services. So if you need help with email marketing, social media marketing, search engine optimization, or just content creation, we can help. And remember to always please join us each Wednesday at BizzyWebinars. So today we talked about web do's and don'ts. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about designing your website for your clients instead of just you. And then the following Wednesday, why analytics matter, lead generation with online marketing. We've got a customer retention best practices webinar on Thursday, the 17th. We're going to talk about harnessing the power of mobile. And then we're going to cover my year in review and my predictions for 2016 as we close out the year on the 30th. Thank you all very much for joining us. And I'll have a couple more things. If you go to bizzyweb.com/buzz, you can fill out this simple little form. The thing on the left is all you need to fill out: your website address, your keyword, your name and an email, and then we will send you via email this report. So you click a keyword that you'd like to be found for and your web address, and it's going to tell you what you're doing right and what you could improve on in order to get better results, both for search engines and in marketing in general. You're going to walk away with a 10-page report that includes a handy checklist that you can give to your current developer, or of course take to BizzyWeb and say, please help us fix this. Again, would love to have you enter any of those questions. If you have anything, just send that to dave@bizzyweb.com. Thank you all very much for joining us on this snowy December morning. And remember, at BizzyWeb, we help you generate buzz without getting stung. Thanks to ABC for hosting this webinar, and we'll talk to you soon.